I'll speak a little bit more about my women community as I get along today. Hello, YouTube. Welcome. We are here again today. It's Friday evening. So, what I think, the connection that I particularly am looking to make to begin with, and then we'll see what continues as we move on here. A lot of the women who I'm working with are looking to speak their voice. They are looking to be unapologetic. They want to tell their story. They want to create content that helps them connect with their audience and then sell their products and services. They are, these are women who are, YouTube, you know that, right? If you're watching my content on a regular basis. But if you're new here, my name is Naima. I'm the founder of the Academy for Womanhood, where we help women grow up and become unapologetic women who design their lives based on true desires terms. I'm saying that for the new people who may be here. Hello, my name is Naima. And my specialty as the founder is focusing on folks who were born as Black sheep, okay? So have never fit in. They were born bright lights, and they're exceptionally, I want to say spiritual, although I know spirituality has been consumerized. But these are women who have never fit in. They are in this world and not of it. People call them weird and strange and all that. So that's who really I'm talking to when I talk. Other women who don't necessarily identify with Black sheep can benefit as well, but that's who I'm talking to when I'm talking primarily, is those of us who have always been different. So when it comes time to tell our story and use our voices to communicate a message, to connect, to resonate, to let me read and we'll get there. Okay. So again, let me give you a screenshot of the book I'm reading from in the event you want to, okay, screenshot that. Oh, there's like nobody here on TikTok. Maybe they'll come. Let's see. But anyway, we have the replay here, so that's really good. Hey, y'all. Hey, you too. So this is page 17 of the book, and the topic is performance robs us of connection. We often shy away from the raw sensation of intimate situations because we believe we have to know how to operate inside of them. Performance is a cover for when we can't admit we don't know what to do. It is an insidious and primary aspect of the tumescent mind that creates distance from the true nature of what's meant to happen in an experience. I'll define very quickly what tumescence is, so maybe this sentence will make a little bit more sense. Tumescence is basically anything and everything that happens inside of a human whenever we're engaging in life, whenever we are, anything and everything. You can look up the definition yourself so you can come to your own conclusion, but anything and everything, a sensation in your body, all of the stories you make up about why you can't contact somebody, about why you can't say this, about how you're going to look. Pride comes up, how you're going to be perceived. This feels like too much. All that is tumescent activity going on inside of the human. And it just gets in the way of just raw, you know what I mean? Just every day. You're at the grocery store, you're dealing with your kid's teacher, you're buying something, you're talking to the customer service, everything that gets in the way, okay? So I'll repeat the sentence with this word tumescence and see if it lands differently, okay? Performance is a cover. Performance is a cover for when we can't admit we don't know what to do. It is an insidious and primary aspect of the tumescent mind that creates distance from the true nature of what's meant to happen in an experience. Oh my God. Can you already feel that? Like what if I wasn't trying to, this can happen in so many instances. So for example, you're creating content or you want to create content and you're stifled. You don't create you procrastinate, you delay. The tumescent mind is just running, just the story making. And what would happen if that was out of the way and you just said what you just wanted to say without all the, what would you say? You're in a, it's, let's say you and I run into each other somewhere, out somewhere, and everything would come up in you that would make you, whatever in the moment. And if you had that out the way, or you knew how to deal with that in yourself, what would the interaction be like between us? What we would do, the things that we would do. And you know what it looks like? You ever see kids on the playground? They just go up to my niece, she just goes up to kids, she just grabs their hand. You know what I'm saying? I love it. Okay. Were we instead to simply admit we didn't know, the sensation we were trying to touch by performing would be allowed to arise naturally. Allowance like this is the deeply vulnerable activity where we allow ourselves to be touched and felt and moved entirely without layers. It is, in fact, the opposite of performance. Okay, before I go on, why am I bringing this up? Yeah, so this is, yeah, I got to make some connections now because okay, why am I bringing this up? One, I'm also speaking because I know what's to come, which is us in person gathering. That is to come. Okay, that is to come. Us in person gathering. Like, y'all don't know the details of that because it's not being marketed, but it's to come, and I know that. So, one, because I know what it takes to exist in a physical space with human beings who are being vulnerable, true, who are looking for power, connection, real love, and to get that true nourishment that we're only going to get in true connection with other human beings. It's the only way it's going to happen. Okay. That we're like performing for. So we think we get it from this man who becomes our husband. We're performing for so that we look pretty or decent or kind or powerful or strong or considerate or respectful or modest or decent. All the performance that we put on, because underneath it, we want to belong somewhere. We want to look cool, be loved, be respected, honored, worshiped, adored, whatever the thing is. And fundamentally loved. Okay. So this topic of the raw contact of intimacy is because I want to start speaking to what it feels like. I want you to start feeling, thinking, looking at what does it look like for you to be in an actual sensational interaction with a person like this. There's this hotel restaurant that I like to go to. I was there today. I was there yesterday. I really like it. They have, it's the restaurant, then the restaurant has its like a lobby lounge area, and then they have an outdoor lounge area where you can eat, and it's just super cool. The aesthetics are great. They play loungy music. The wait staff are nice to me. They take care of me. The food is good. Like, it's just good on multiple layers. And I was there maybe 3 weeks ago, and one of the women who is there often, she's super cool. I was in the outside area, and the doors were open because normally the doors are shut and they open the door and come in and out. But this particular day, the doors were open. So I was outside, but there was nothing separating me from them. So they could just come out, they could say something to me from a distance and I could hear them. And because I've seen her many times and I've interacted many times, I noticed she was different. Okay. So me even noticing right there is an act of intimacy. Okay, me even just noticing her, noticing that she's different from how she normally is. This is okay. Why does this part even matter? Why am I saying this? Because one, you want to sell your products and services, yes or no? Two, people are going to be DMing you, questioning you about your products and services, yes or no? People are going to be responding to your content, yes or no? If you plan to do any kind of workshops, online or offline, you're truly here to help people for real, okay? In a transformational way, in a deep way. Intimacy is required. Intimacy is absolutely required. People are buying, not only are they buying because they're looking for a result, but they're buying you, their connection with you, what they see with you. Intimacy is important first with yourself, where it's comfortable there. And I don't mean comfortable like, oh, this is so comfortable. I mean like you're skilled there. You're okay with the uncomfortability of you're comfortable with discomfort. Okay? You can traverse vulnerability without wanting to escape and throw on a fake smile, and you can see somebody else being tender in front of you and you don't feel the need to hurry up and go save them because you know how to deal in the quiet of another human's fragility, and letting them have that experience with you as a witness versus you feeling so uncomfortable with their pain or fragility that you want to jump in and do something or say something, or you don't like the way quiet feels in the space with another human being because of the intimacy there. All of this is multi-layered, this is dynamic, this is what makes you an extremely valuable human being. This makes you an extremely valuable human being, an extremely valuable mother, an extremely valuable sister, lover, friend, coach, healer, writer, listener, preacher, medicine woman, all the things. Because most human beings run from vulnerability. They run from confrontation. They run from intimacy. They want to fill in the space with, it's okay. And this, you can do it. I know. This is why today's topic is the raw contact of intimacy. This is why I'm sharing the story about why intimacy matters. And for the men that are listening who may watch the replay, when I say intimacy, I do not mean a dick inside of a pussy. I know men, when they hear the word intimacy, they immediately think sex. That is not what I mean here. I mean the intimacy of vulnerability with another human being. Okay? So I see this woman who serves me twice a week, and she seems different. I'm just noticing that she's different. And as I'm sitting there noticing her, she notices that I'm noticing her. So that's another act of intimacy. There's no words that's been exchanged. It's just a noticing of each other. Okay. And this woman is very intuitive. She's exquisite. I saw her today. And so I'm sitting there, and I think she brought me some water or something like that. And I'm sitting there. I haven't ordered yet. I told her I'm not ready. I'm just getting myself there, right? Because I just got there, and I'm just sitting there, just sort of like taking in the air, getting myself there before I look at the menu. And I'm checking her out. I notice her. She notices. And then in her noticing, she said something. I don't remember what she said, but I just noticed that what she said showed me her level of intimacy in the moment, her feeling. She was tuned in. This is so feminine. Men know nothing about this. This is why women can run a whole room and men don't know anything that's going on because all of it is under the radar. It's an unspoken communication. So, and I say to her, I said, you're very sensitive today. I said, you're very sensitive today. And she's like, am I? What did I do? Right? Because most of us, when we do notice somebody, we don't let them know that we notice them, right? All of this is intimacy. It's sensitivity, is paying attention, and reflection. This is what it looks like and feels like to be seen. It's one way, okay? She's like, what did I do? Right? So then it's sort of like you think you're just walking through Target and nobody is noticing you. And let's say somebody's been watching you for the last 3 minutes and you didn't know that they were watching you. And then when you happen to pass them by, and they say something to you like, I noticed you were checking out that face wash and you were reading, and you'd be like, oh God. You become kind of hyper self-conscious because they're noticed. Wow, somebody noticed me. Kind of somebody, wow. And who, depending on your mind, you might get paranoid or whatever. But I said, you're sensitive today. And she's like, oh, what did I do? And we start talking. She's like, yeah, I'm on my period. And I'm going to go get some ice cream. And and she's going, right? So as women, we know that we become even hypersensitive when we're on our period, right? And I picked up on that as a woman. That is intimacy, all of that, right? And it was a whole, then when I was finished eating and I went inside and I had my bag with me and I sat my bag down. And what happened was I had left my water outside. This is the level of intimacy that makes it's just better for all the reasons I've already stated. And it makes you a more valuable human being, and it's yummy, and it's going to matter, especially if you're going to be having enrollment calls with potential clients, right? People are, your ability to even feel people's comments and feel what's behind people's words, because the people are walking around with so much shame and insecurity. And when somebody comments on your content about some taboo subject, and you can feel what they're saying because you're used to practicing intimacy and vulnerability with other people, and then you can call out the thing that they were afraid to say. You know how connected people will feel and will incline them to buy from you? Do you want to be a valuable, well-paid woman who serves? Do you want to be a valuable human being? Yes or no? Or you just be another scared bitch on, listen, because everybody's scared. You can develop these skills. I can show you. My community will show you. My products will show you. Us working together privately will show you. Most women are not in their power. They run, they hide, they hate confrontation. They do all kind of slick shit to make sure to keep power away. You can be that, or you can own the totality of intimacy, which is very sensitive, it's very uncomfortable, but you stay in there with commitment to getting to the other side every single time, and you get better and better and better and softer and more tender and more able to be in the tenderness of life. And you don't feel the need to hide behind this and, like Aaron and, all the things that women do to run, to hide. So anyway, I go inside, I sit my bag down, but before I went inside, I had some water, but I didn't want to carry it. If you're selling products, have you not been listening? I said, don't some of you want to sell products and services? I help women who want to sell products and services online through their content. You're not new here, OG. Why are you asking me this? Is this because you've been multitasking and not listening, not present? I help women who are black sheep, who want to change the world, who want to make big money, big bad bitches. They want to make money online. They want to be unapologetic. They want to be vocal. They want to tell their story in their content. They want to go live like this, tell their story, the rawness, the taboo-ness, the shame, all the shit that would heal their clients, everything that heals them. And they want to say it without choking all over themselves and scared to speak, hiding behind a computer, hiding behind, I'm busy, I don't want to be judged, this and this and that and that. Because they want their content to reach women so that women want to buy their digital products, buy coaching programs, buy their healing products, buy their retreat, buy their course. Is that clear now? Why am I responding like this? Because I've seen your name here before. So on a level, you're not paying attention, because I say some version of this often. And if you're not paying attention here, you're probably not paying attention in life, which is probably why you don't have the highest results you want. To my products, what products? Did I not say like at least 2 times, 3 times before you asked that question, and you've been here this whole time? Do people tell you you don't listen? Do people in your life, your mom, your friends, your children, people, do they tell you you don't listen? Do you feel like you're so busy and overwhelmed? Try getting present. Are you multitasking right now? You got this video open plus 7 other tabs somewhere? Yeah, okay. So when I was finished dining and I went back inside, I had a glass of water outside, but I didn't want to carry it. So I went back inside without the water, and I was thinking to myself, I don't want to carry this. And I set my bag down inside and was like, I sure would like a glass of water. I just thought it to myself. Do you know that literally within like 20 seconds, she brought a glass of water over to me? After I just finished eating outside, had a glass of wine, a meal, came back inside, And within 20 seconds of me thinking I would like a glass of water, she brought the glass of water over to me. Intimacy. You can feel as you walk through rooms. Most women are locked up down here, pussy dry, scared of their sex power, scared of walking around earth and life like this. Just open. Just skip. They walk. They don't actually do this, but their energy is this. Don't look at me. Don't. When you can walk around, this is why my own all energies exist. This is why shadow gold exists. It's all here. There's nothing stopping nobody. There's nothing stopping none of y'all. Nothing stopping none of y'all. Nothing. You have no idea what you could do. You have no idea what you could do. Oh my God. So I said to her, I don't know if you realize how good you are. Do you want that level of sensitivity in your life where you can just think it and it comes to you? Where people feel seen by you? Who here is coaching clients right now? You're doing coaching, you're doing healing sessions, you're doing, because that's what I'm talking to. Oh, gee, maybe you don't belong here. Maybe you don't belong here. You know what I'm saying? It's quiet today on TikTok. Small numbers, very small. People want to be felt. They want to be seen. They do. Even if it's like, because most people are not seen. They're not really seen intimately. Anybody here a coach, a healer? You do any kind of like intimacy work with people? When I say coaching, medicine, card reader, oracle, therapist, psychotherapist, etc. Performance can look like certain. OG, if you don't like it here, you can leave. You can leave. There's tons of other people creating content. You can go to have the experience you want to have. Okay. Performance can look like serving people, adding in a layer of politeness or submission in place of noticing and connection. I want to share something with you all because I think maybe you'll be drawn to it. So, the woman who wrote this book, let me put it up here again. She popularized a practice called orgasmic meditation. What just happened? So, this right here, I know this, I feel this. And I'm like, I want women to, I really want women, the women who want it, right? And women, we do want it. It's just all that's required for us to go through to get to the truth of it. Sometimes it can feel daunting when we're isolated. Performance can look like serving people, adding in a layer of politeness or submission in place of noticing, the way I noticed she was sensitive, and connection. What happened when I read that, I felt that for a woman to get to sensitivity, she must engage in practices that strengthen her sensitivity. Nicole popularized orgasmic meditation. Orgasmic meditation is a partnered practice where there's a stroker and a strokee. Anybody here knows of orgasmic meditation? You can look it up. Go to Google. You can go to YouTube. There's a video up where you can see about it, where a woman has her clitoris stroked for 15 minutes with the sole intent to feel. There's no goal. This is not about masturbation. Sole intent to feel. Why? To expand your capacity to feel. When you expand your capacity to feel and to feel safe in feeling, okay, before I go on, to feel safe in feeling. As a woman, and before we even got to woman, let's think about middle school. If you can remember back to 7 years old, etc. And we felt, and we were vocal about what we felt. It was pure. There was less of the holding down of a feeling or responding to a feeling, right? And as we get older, many of us, we shut down with every experience that feels painful, judgmental, hard. They don't like me. My mom didn't. My dad said no. This boy broke my heart. This, and by the time we get up to 25, 35, etc., we're what we felt and knew and was honest about at 7 is gone. It's just down. It's just so what we do is we get really good at being in electric environments. It's just bounty everywhere all the time, but we have trained ourselves to not notice it, not see it, not feel it, not let it in. And we become dull over time, over time. Our sensitivity becomes dull, becomes dull, becomes dull. And so then we become numb, there's a dryness to our experience and relating to life. We sort of slow down and it becomes kind of mundane and there's not much of anything because our sensitivity that allowed us to be alive in life and connected with the colors, the sounds, another human being. Over time, and so we're grown women, but we're just like cut, and we're very masculine in our way of being. I just commented on somebody's post on TikTok earlier today about how women constantly abandon this and go up here. We constantly abandon this wherever we feel and we're sensitive and we can notice another person, another woman, and see people and be in connection and draw people out. All that dries up. And then we go up here and then we just become, well, let me think about it. Well, I don't know. Then we become, well, what I was thinking was, what do you think? I don't know. And I hear women say this all the time. I ignore my body and I go up to my head. I ignore my body and I go up to my head. I ignore my body and go up to my head. I ignore my body and I go up to my head. I call them neck up women. Neck up. They're just neck up. Hi, how are you? And she talked about the politeness and serving people. It's all performance. Hi, how are you? Would you like something to drink? Oh, hi. Oh, you're so kind. You're gorgeous. You're stunning. Yeah. Yes, exactly. So what are we doing today? How are you? Oh, I'm great. Yeah, let's go. Oh, it's wonderful. Girl, what a day. Oh, girl, this shit is crazy. Girl, did you see that viral TikTok video? Girl, no, I was like crazy. It's just not noticing, not connecting. It's just, you see, versus you are so in your feeling state because of whatever you could be doing. It could be orgasmic meditation, whatever you're doing to make yourself more sensitive to life so you can live life fully, feel life, be present in life. And instead of you being neck up and yes, and how are you? I don't know. The way so many humans are, it's just no connection. We're not seeing and noticing each other. You become so sensitive again, so willing to be vulnerable and intimate with another human again, that you notice her octave changed when you asked her a question about a particular thing. You notice that her eyes did this particular thing because you're not afraid to be in connection with a stranger. You're not afraid to notice what you feel and then ask her a question that could feel personal, right? And the more sensitive you get and the more trusting of yourself you get, the more willing you are to risk in ways that most humans will not risk. When a woman, especially a woman like me, like I really care. I care tremendously. And I got loud on the phone with Flying yesterday because I could feel myself pushing myself into her reality. Which, when a woman is truly turned on and she really gives a fuck, the passion is there. Okay. And what happens is everybody who has made themselves numb and apathetic and redundant and boring and rageful, and you come around them and they don't want any of your passion to penetrate them, they'll punish you for being passionate. Calm down, bitch. You doing too much. You uh. And when you give a fuck and you're just out about your day, you're at the gas station, you're at Target, you're at a restaurant, you're at whatever, and you notice a man, a woman, a child, and you say something from the goodness, from the curiosity, from the care of you, motherfuckers love it. And it makes such a difference in their life, in your life. And it's like, are we sharing this planet or not? Are we sharing this planet or not? I'm in a car next to you. We're driving down this street. If something happens, I'm a witness. You're a witness. Somebody calling 911 around this motherfucker. I go to this particular specialty shop all the time. They know me, I know them. They know the way I like my drink. Am I not noticing them? Have they not? Or I'm just going in there, order my drink. How you doing? Good. Thank you. Bye. Have a good day. I don't know. What kind of experience do you want to have? What kind of human? What are you doing? What are you referring to, Shamora? So I went off on a little bit of a tangent. When you get super sensitive, and this becomes a choice, you can see so far into people. Like, oftentimes you're not going to take action on that, right? Unless you're working with a client. But you can see into people. It's powerful. I know a lot of people don't care about that, but I'm just saying if you do care about it, you can do that. We try to please. Hold on. Performance can look like serving people, adding in a layer of politeness or submission in place of noticing a connection. Yet, in the areas where the greatest service we could offer, in the areas where the greatest service we could offer is the raw contact of intimacy, we often throw up a smokescreen of performance. We try to please our partner by focusing our attention on how good we think we are doing, rather than on what we are feeling, on how they seem to be responding, rather than on what's arising in the connection, on our own desire to be aroused by validation, rather than on being in the more vulnerable and quiet experience of simply opening and responding to the moment of connection. How do you feel about that? Should I reread that? Yes, true. Should I reread that? What I'd like to share is how sweet it is. say this. Hey, David. Aaron, you know what's up. Let me tell you what's sticking out in my mind about you. When I said what I said to you in that last live stream, and you was like, "What, you want me to leave?" And I said, "What do you think you should do?" You remember that? It felt very incomplete. But I remember. I pay attention. And I want to say this for anybody who could be watching me right now. A lot of people watch me quietly for years. I've had people come buy from me, and they've been watching me for 7 years, 3 years. So there's a lot of people who watch me for years. They'll come watch the replay or what, right? And I want to say this to anybody, whether you just are coming across my page for the first time today or you've been around for some years. I pay attention. I give a fuck. I've been online for 12 years. It has not been hunky dory. So many people see me and they think I'm just, it took work to get here. I have an old YouTube channel that has, I can't even remember. I don't know, but dozens of videos, old YouTube channel. And the very first video I published was in May of 2011. For 2 months before I published that video, I was terrified. I went to Target, bought a camera, bought a tripod, got home, took it out the box, and was so terrified and was like, and put it in the closet. And it sat in the closet and haunted me for 2 months. That was in 2011. There was no Black women, at least not that I knew of. There was no Black woman creating content on YouTube. Because remember, TikTok wasn't around. Was Instagram around? It was barely there. The only thing that I was on at the time was Facebook. And then I decided to start doing YouTube. So the way y'all can look at me right now, and you can just see a shit ton of live streams everywhere all the time, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, that was not a thing in 2011. So there was no motivation. There was no somebody for me to go relate to and be like, ooh. There was one white girl I got introduced to named Katie Freiling, freckle-faced redhead chick in San Diego. And her product that I ended up buying called Cash In On You is what helped me start monetizing online. But before Katie Freiling, it was me and my will that got me online producing content on YouTube. So while today I look polished and on it and articulate, etc., just know that I was terrified for 2 months and my equipment sat in the closet in 2011 and there was no Black woman online motivating me to do it. And the commitment I made when I first started, because it took me my will, and using your will and solely your will is exhausting, especially when you're not used to exerting it in a particular way. And at that time, I was not used to using my will in that particular way. And I remember I said to myself, Naima, if you do not put something in place to help you strengthen you creating this content, it's going to take you 2 more months to create another video, because I was so exhausted after I did that first video, because my mind chatter, what am I going to say? Who's even going to watch this? What are you doing? Okay? By the time I actually did the dang on video and published it, I was so exhausted. I was like, you got to find a way. So what I did was I said, you're going to do a video 3 times a week, no matter what. This was in 2011, May. That's what, 13 years ago. 13 years ago. Naima, you're going to do a video 3 times a week, no matter what. And if you go look at that channel, you see some days my hair not done. Some days I look like I just got out the bed, because I made the commitment that I was doing the video no matter what. And I did that until that fear that I had me, until that went away. I kept going until that went away. Now, over the years, as I started to talk about more taboo things, shameful things, powerful things, etc., other fears came in, etc., etc. So it's not like I've just been all good since then. But the point is, for any person, man or woman, to be online for 12, nearly 13 years at this point, if I look at when I started monetizing, because even though I started creating content in May, I didn't start monetizing until like November of that year. So if we look at when I started monetizing, 13 years will be at the end of this year. For any man, any woman to get online for 13 years and to create content consistently and work in the realm of transformation, true transformation, where you're dealing with people's shame, including your own shame, trauma, heartbreak, embarrassment, ego, pride, massive amounts of uncomfortability, rejection, judgment, all the things that keep humans playing small for a lifetime. For any human being, man or woman, to work in that domain for a living for 13 years, they give a fuck. There's so many reasons to quit. It's so much that don't feel good. It's so much that's uncomfortable. And you don't grow your business unless you grow. This is the one business that you cannot grow unless you grow. Like, you can work a job and get raises and promotions and don't really develop yourself much depending on the job. In the world of transformation, where you are literally online and you're selling a result, you're selling yourself, you do not grow in your business unless you grow. It demands it. Why am I saying this? Because I care, I pay attention to your behavior. All kinds of behavior, like Tamara. I sent you that video, you know what I'm talking about, and you didn't respond. You ain't respond at all since then. I notice and remember all that. Why? Because I care. Most people are not used to somebody caring. They're not used to strangers caring. They're skeptical of people caring. Whether you buy from me or not, I'm paying attention because I care about myself. I care about connection. I care about other human beings. I give a fuck. So I'm saying that for those of you who've been watching for a long time, for those of you who are new here, a lot of people I have found, I had to learn this myself. A lot of people are uncomfortable or they're unfamiliar with people caring about them. They don't trust it. It's uncomfortable. A lot of women have poor relationships with their mother. So when that foundation is not healthy, they have a hard time being in healthy relationships with women, healthy relationships with life, receiving love, receiving help, receiving attention, etc. So there's a lot of that going on. A lot of women hate their mothers. You know what I'm saying? And so, I just want people to know that, that's what any coach that's been around for a while and is doing transformational work, healing work, shadow work, dark work, work dealing with all that. I care. I really care. Okay. Hi, Toya. And I tell people, just communicate. That's it. That's it. That's it. So many people avoid. They just, this is not about, you're not going to lose love. You're not going to lose, I'm not going to judge you. You're not going to, right? This is not that. And so many people are worried about impressing me judging them, all these things. No. Listen, I am going to hold you to account. I am. I'm going to hold you to a standard. When I was getting loud with Felian on the phone yesterday, I said, Felian, I'm not fucking around with you and your lack of clarity. How many people care about you enough to call you on your lack of clarity? Felian, I'm not fucking with you with your lack of clarity. You need to get clear about why, what, where you go. Otherwise, I'm not fucking with you. Versus your other girlfriend, she just wants some company. So she'll sit around with you and drink and go out to dinner and yeah, girl. That's what you want, then go over there then. Okay. So many people don't want that. Okay, fine. Go over there then. Okay. Not only does performance look for these signals, it also manufactures them, adding in a layer of drama or flair or poetry or romance with the notion that the experience itself isn't good enough. We believe we're enhancing the experience with our performance. Are y'all catching this? However, when we add those things, here's what just came to mind. Go out on a date with a man and just be in the experience without needing to just take him in, relaxing your body. You see, like that. Versus what she said here, we believe we're enhancing the experience with our performance. However, when we add those things in, the other person feels obligated. Thank you for the heart. When we add in performance, wait, hold on. However, when we add those things in, the other person feels obligated to perform for us or obligated, period. Obligation cannot inhabit the same space as release, relaxation, or enjoyment. When we add in performance, we don't develop the skills to be in relationship with the real thing. Did anybody here see who's on my email list, see the email that I sent out about intimacy with Black men? Anybody here? Did anybody here see that email? Hi, Kamari. I'm glad. Hi. I don't see the rest of your sentence. It says, you said you remembered my name. That's the last part I see of your statement. Did you want to complete your statement? Are you right? You want to have a conversation? So nobody here saw that email? In the email, I talked about being present in a room without the need to perform or hold up any idea. Without the need to perform, and allowing ourselves to be in the raw contact of that so that power rises. What actually wants to rise can rise. It's pure, it's raw, it's true. And that is skill development, not just for being in relationship with romantic partners, people in our lives who we care about, but being with life. I'm going to read this sentence again. When we add in performance, we don't develop the skills to be in relationship with the real thing. So we never get to know ourselves. We never get to know other people, the real thing. The part of you that feels like, I don't know in this moment, and how tender and vulnerable that feels. The part of you that feels excited. Ooh. The part of you that's curious. And the part of you that feels enlightened. And you don't even get to those parts of yourself because you're so busy trying to erect what you're supposed to be, what you think you're supposed to be in an experience like this, with a man, with these people, in this meeting, at this. Can you see that and feel that as I say it? Does that make sense? So when I talk about the raw contact of intimacy, this is what I'm talking about. Now, let's bring this to storytelling. Who here, since it's been a little bit of time and we have some new faces, I think, who here wants to tell their story online in content? Who here wants to heal themselves through speaking? Who here wants to teach other women? Who here wants to sell products and services online? What do you want to sell online? Tell me what you want to sell online. What do you want to sell online? Recreating a better relationship to our creativity to strengthen our voice. Oh, okay. Somebody immediately came to mind when you said that. So this is a message. Sin. Sin, is your name Cynthia? So this is a message. And is there something specific you want to sell that you already know you want to sell? Is it more so communicating that message through your content? Before I go on, I want to say a little bit about women in Italy. So for those of you who don't know, I am hosting I'm not calling it a retreat. I know some people are calling it a retreat, but it's an 8-day experience in Italy, September 16th through the 24th. And I'm so excited about this because I have a personal love affair with Italy, period. I lived in Italy for 4 years. It's just dolce vita. And September 16th to the 24th, 8 days. I have a group of women coming. There's still space. And the whole purpose is one, feminine connection with other women who care about feminine connection and power, women who care about beauty and having a good time, women who've always wanted to go to Italy. Always wanted to go to Italy. I've heard that. Women who want a hard reset. One woman is coming. She straight up said, I want to reset. Okay. If you have been tired and you want to play and rest. Okay. We're going to have 5 days of activities that are going to be fun, we have a day-long raw power retreat together. And you can come all 5 days to what we're doing or come to less. Okay, depending on, I want to rest, I want to, whatever. But if you would love to come to Italy, 8 days, September 16th through the 24th, to play for transformation, potent, powerful transformation, to get to know yourself more, to unleash your voice, to up your wealth consciousness, to reset, to get yourself out of wherever you live and come over to a whole new beautiful space. We're going to be in Milan, Italy. So to come to a beautiful space for 8 days, September 16th to the 24th, I invite you to look into women in Italy. There's lots of details on my page about, like, if you go to my wall, there's content about women in Italy. And if you read the caption, details are there about what's included, pricing, etc. If you have any questions, you can feel welcome to DM me. The deposit is $2,500. And the total, you can do payments. Just know you can split up your payments and just DM me if you have questions. And I'm happy to hop on a call. That part, once you read the details, if you have questions, etc., I'm happy to hop on a call to discuss how Women in Italy is amazing for you and your reset, your fun, your play, your transformation, nurturing relationships with other women who care about nurturing relationships with powerful women. Okay. Want to drop that. One last thing also, my womanhood initiation. Community. I think I've had seasons in my life where I really just wanted to be alone. Like, I didn't want to do any kind of community work with other people who were healing, transforming, unleashing their voice, getting to know themselves, etc. I had seasons in my life where I didn't want that. I just wanted me with me, my time. So there's definitely a place for that. I know how nourishing, like self nourishing that can be, and healing and useful that can be. And I also know that after a woman has done lots of healing by herself, lots of transformation by herself, lots of growth by herself, traveled alone by herself, just done all kinds of healing, transformation, exploratory, expansive work by herself, organically and very naturally, she comes to a place where she wants to start to connect with other women who are doing the same. Whether it's because she wants to power up with other women, whether it's because she's ready to be seen and connect, whether it's because she's ready to nurture relationships, because she has a vision for her life now, and she recognizes that high quality relationships with other women are a part of the vision of the long term of her life. And now she's like, okay, so who are the women who want to do what I do, who want to travel to Italy, who, care about high character, who have values of love and authenticity and all that, right? And so if you're at that level now, where you care about quality relationships with other women who care about quality relationships, if you care about being held to a standard because you hold yourself to a standard, if you care about accountability, if you care about women who have real values, not talk about values, but actually live values, meaning they keep their word, they're honest, they're going to call you forward. They see you and they say it. As I talked about earlier about noticing people, strangers, people in your life, and actually vocalizing it, and then people feel seen. You care about structure. You care about love. You care about travel. You care about abundance. You want to be paid well. You want a hot body. Shout out to Falion, right? You want to you care about living an elevated life. You care about unleashing your voice. You want to come to my womanhood initiation. It's your gateway into my woman community where these women are who care about these things that I just mentioned. Okay. So I repeat, my womanhood initiation is the gateway to my woman community. My woman community is $99 a month. If you're not ready for power, if you're not ready to be a grown woman, I'm talking about emotionally. This ain't got nothing to do with money. This ain't got nothing to do with where you live. This ain't got nothing to do with what college you went to. This ain't got nothing to do whether you married or not, got kids or not. This has to do with the character of you. If you care about wealth, if you care about your future, if you care about high quality relationships with other women, if you truly care about abundance on all levels, when I say abundance, I don't mean just money. I mean an open heart is abundant. I mean a mind that looks for the good is abundant. A woman who is expressive and honest and authentic is abundant. A woman who fully inhabits her body is abundant. This is the work that we're doing inside of my woman community, and it's $99 a month. If you know you're not prepared for community, if you know you don't want to be held to account, you don't want to be seen, you're not ready to invest $99 a month and be there and have that be family and grow in that way, do not come to my womanhood initiation. If you are ready to be seen, to unlock your voice, to claim the abundance that you know that you always have been, but you forgot about, or you ignored, or you were programmed incorrectly. If you're ready to play, you're ready to unlock your voice, you're ready to start traveling, you're ready to be in conversations with women who are traveling. One woman is on her way to Cuba or is already there. Next week, I'm leaving for Italy. Another woman I can't even remember where she's traveling to, but we are traveling. We are making money. We are learning how to make money online. They're learning, okay? We are sincere. And the women who are not sincere, they're easily falling away. I love the purity of this community. I don't even have to do nothing. And I don't mean like that. I mean, like, I don't have to police it like that because the energy keeps it clean. I don't have to worry about none of that. So the women who talk it, but not about it, they come in and go right on out. The women who are sincere, they come and they stay. Okay. So when I say this, I mean it. I don't say this for shits and giggles. So if you want this, what I'm talking about, and you mean it, You want to come to my Womanhood initiation? It's happening this coming Sunday at 3 p.m. Pacific. This coming Sunday at 3 p.m. Pacific. You register with the link in my bio. Go to the link in my bio, click it, and click Womanhood Initiation. You need to be ready to be on camera. Remember I said if you're ready to be seen and unlock your voice? Yeah, we begin that on Sunday inside of the Womanhood Initiation at 3 o'clock on Zoom. If you're not ready to be seen and loved and valued for who you are, poured into for who you are, unlock your voice. If you're not ready for that starting Sunday at 3 p.m. Pacific, don't come. If you're not ready to be on time, don't come. If you can't be present, well, because I want to be there, but then I'm gonna be in a car. My kids, don't come. If you're not ready to invest $99 a month, don't come. Okay? Because that's all of what Sunday is about. Again, this coming Sunday, 3 p.m. Pacific on Zoom. 1 hour is the Womanhood Initiation, and that is your gateway into the woman community, which is where we live. Okay? So, I want to get back to who's here, has products and services to sell. Communicate and also introduce. So art gallery, that's the vibe I get when you said that. I'm not saying you are, but that's just the vibe I got. Art gallery. It's not every Sunday. I don't have so here's the thing. What's happening on Sunday is impromptu. I just decided this morning, or was it yesterday? Yeah, I think so. Either this morning or yesterday that I was hosting Sunday. So I don't know when the next one is. If you are ready for what I've described, but you know you're not ready, like available to meet on Sunday, but you want to come to a future one, you can subscribe so you'll be on my email list and then you'll be notified when the next ones are coming. When the next one is after Sunday, those are not scheduled yet. Art gallery, film screening series, book readings, and a course on creative expression. Oh, beautiful. And so, what do you want to share online? What do you want to talk about? What have you been withholding? Oh, wow, Medellin. How cool is that? Medellin was such a great, oh, God, so good. Coaching calls for mastering your mind, feminine power. Oh, beautiful. Oh, cool. Very cool. How do I say your name? Is it Camry? Am I saying your name right? Camry? You're saying so much about yourself. The quality of your character. Hey now. What do y'all want? Since when is this a thing like this? There we go. So I'm getting all over the place from you. Is that your creative side that has the multiple? So The reason why I asked about uh, who here wants to sell products and services is because, so there's multiple things. One, what are you drawn to about me? So that's a question you can answer. Also, if you're doing transformational work, or Camry, who's doing feminine power work, any woman who's drawn to any kind of feminine work, creative expression, any kind of true feminine power work, like the true kind, okay? Whether she's consciously aware of it or not, she wants intimacy, okay? So the reason why I'm asking you about if you are sincere about telling your story online, unlocking your voice, being authentic, and selling products and services is because the woman who will be drawn to your products and services is going to be looking at the quality of your intimacy and your content. She's going to be looking consciously or unconsciously at the way you speak, at because, for example, just imagine somebody like me looking at your content, but you don't know I'm looking at your content. Just imagine we've never met before, okay? Or any woman who's highly perceptive, who is looking for, whether consciously or consciously, looking for some kind of feminine power help. She's looking to unleash her voice. She's looking for somatic work to know who she is, to become magnetic, to heal her trauma, et cetera, et cetera. And she's just scrolling through TikTok, right? And she comes across your content and she's listening to you. She's consciously or unconsciously looking at the level of intimacy you have and how you're being, how you're expressing, how you're talking about creative expression, how you're talking about feminine power. And, you know, just think about when you are looking at somebody's content, right? Just think about when you are laying in your bed, sitting in your chair, and you're looking at somebody else's content. You're judging, aren't you? You're making assessments about if they're honest or not. All of your spidey senses are tuned in. And if you were here earlier, when I talked about being at that restaurant, hotel restaurant that I love to go to, and me tuned into the woman who helps me often and just noticing how she was different than she normally is. And that's me with her in person. That's what people are doing online all the time. Just think about you, right? When you're looking at somebody's content or looking at me, right? You're assessing consciously and unconsciously, do I trust her? Do I like her? Is she true? Does she mean that? Oh, wow, she really knows. Oh, wow, that was vulnerable. Oh, wow, that's some detail. Man, that was raw. I don't know. Something seems to be missing here. Like all that is happening as you're watching people, right? So people are doing the same that thing with you when they're watching your content. So the reason why I asked you if you want to sell content, particularly doing around feminine power work, is that it's going to be so important that you be willing to be intimate with yourself, which is why I said earlier, your willingness to be intimate with yourself will reflect itself in your willingness to be intimate or not intimate with others. That was a lot. So, are you willing to be intimate with yourself? Which requires you being honest, which requires you confronting yourself. If you run away from me confronting you, you're going to have a hard time with somebody in your comments, you know, anything, a client who feels something, thinks something, whatever, and a question she asks you feels confrontational. Is this making sense about why intimacy is important? Intimacy with yourself first, and why this whole raw contact of intimacy matters. And this is one of those nuances that's not, people don't put this in their marketing. Like, come learn how to be intimate with yourself so you can get to six figures, because y'all probably not gonna buy it because you think it's just a marketing, a TikTok strategy, and that's why so many people buy these programs and they're not selling y'all the real thing, because it's harder to sell the real thing. It's easier to be like, come shine and get this money so you can travel to Paris like me. Like, it's just easier to sell to people the sizzle. But the fine print is, are you willing to be intimate with yourself so that you can be compelling on camera? So when somebody looks at your product or service or masterclass, you're irresistible. Or is it better to sell, you want to come to Paris like me? You want to travel the globe like me? So there's a different ways to do that too, though. I mean, like, I do some of the saucy shit too. But it's just like, I want people to know, like, if you really mean it when you say power, girl, we got to get intimate. So does anybody have any questions? Yeah, see, drawn to clear power, vibrant energy, which means your people are too. You see that? Camry said she's drawn to clear power, vibrant energy, etc. You see? So when you're looking at another woman's content, a man's content, you're looking at, is that what she's giving? You know? Anybody have any questions or anything they'd like me to elaborate on? For those of you who may be new here, if you are ready for this kind of power that I'm talking about and you're ready for community, I invite you into my Womanhood initiation. It's happening this coming Sunday at 3 p.m. Pacific. And you can read details and register at the link in my bio. Please read the details on the page. If you don't want what's on the page, don't sign up. Okay? The link is in the description here on YouTube. So you can go look at details there, or here on TikTok, go up to my bio and click it and click Womanhood Initiation. Sensei, what do you define as raw intimacy and the faux intimacy we prefer to receive? So my first response was, well, how would you define it? Because I think you have a definition. Raw is what is without me trying to appear as anything. And oftentimes there'll be a lot of silence in that because it's raw. You say something when you actually want to say something, not to fill in a space. You don't smile because it's the polite thing to do. You don't rush to have a reaction or a movement because stillness feels too uncomfortable. That's raw intimacy. Now, that's in public, right, with strangers, but it can also be sitting in the room with your mom. It could also be on a date with a man. It could also be out with your girlfriends or your girlfriends over at your house. Like, what bubbles up when you don't try to fill in silence? When you're in a room with anybody? What happens when you don't try to fill in a space with a body movement or doing something or saying something, or because what is and the lack of skill of dealing with what is feels like too much? That's raw intimacy. And one of the most potent ways, I think, and this is part of the reason why I'm excited to gather in person in Houston, baby, or New York City, or Italy. What about and is that it's a great practicing ground. It's a great practicing ground. Can you see that? Can you envision yourself in raw intimacy in a physical space with others who also are coming to build that skill, who also want to be in raw connection? Does that make sense, Sin? And does that answer your question? Who would like to co-host some of these raw intimacy gatherings with me in Houston, Texas? So you'd be heavily responsible for marketing, You'd be the main one putting it all together. I mean, obviously I'd be involved, but you'd be the main one putting it all together. You'd be part of managing it. Get in contact with me if you'd like to be a part of co-hosting these in Houston. I want to read more of this book. Would you like me to read more of this book? And I'm going to just pick something randomly. I just opened this page that I haven't seen yet, and I'm like, oh, maybe I'll read this. And if you don't want me to read, if you're indifferent, tell me that too. Maybe I'll just go read by myself. Come on, y'all. What's up? Talk to me. All right, I see you. Why y'all so quiet, TikTok? Yay, that's bright. So this is page 61. Honorably relieving the masculine from say. Oh, here, I have an idea. Oh, I have an idea. I'm going to read the table of contents and y'all tell me what y'all want to read. This feels exciting. This feels interesting. This feels fun. Oh my God. So much. So much. Okay, I'm going to go here. So I'm going to name 3, okay, chapters. They're more so like a couple pages each. 1, you want me to read about accommodation versus surrender? You want me to read about attention seeking versus call? Do you want me to read about scarcity versus surplus? Or do you want me to read about spiritual versus dimensional? That's a lot going on, huh? Was that overwhelming? I am so enjoying this book. There's a page on greed, a page on lust, a page on pride, a page on sloth, a page on envy, a page on gluttony. Following desire to remain connected. To receive is a dignified act. Ooh, here's one. The feminine will test the masculine with desire. Woo! Then there's a page on living without desire. I'm going there. Let's go there. 129. Yeah. Yes. The feminine will test the masculine with desire. The feminine, I haven't read this, by the way. Okay, I haven't read this. So don't, somebody asked about the book. Here it is. Screenshot. And this is volume 4. There's other volumes on Amazon. Screenshot. The feminine will test the masculine with desire. The feminine is the embodiment of the desire to possess, own, and devour. Devour, yes. Let me repeat that. The feminine is the embodiment of the desire to possess, own, and devour. At the same time, the feminine desires true connection with the masculine. Hello! Hello! How are you? The feminine will therefore test the masculine. The nature of feminine tests may have altogether different intentions than they first appear. In the beginning, the test may be about the fitness of the masculine, whether the masculine intention is strong and true. Can the feminine trust the masculine if the feminine unveils her true power? Will the masculine honor her, respect her? The feminine request that the masculine, quote, do something for the feminine is not just a request for meaningless action. It is the way the feminine strips back any extra that might exist between them. Anything that blocks the masculine ability to see the feminine. Woo-wee! Sweetheart, do you want it or do you not? Sweetheart. Hold on. The masculine superiority and the masculine composure get burned through. Gosh. Did y'all catch that? Only then, when the masculine is worn out and vulnerable, is he tender enough to truly feel and have reverence for the power that is the feminine. This is what they tell on themselves so much. I want men to know this. I like my heart. Oh, my heart. Like, don't we want men to know this? Like, really know this. Not know this, but know this experientially. Yes? No? Like, it's the only way he's going to have the actual power. You cannot perform this. Do I need to reread that? Or should I keep going? Do I need to read that again or should I keep going? Listen, it's dang there like I'm here by myself. But I see y'all here, so what? Holla. This is, oh my God. This is such a fortress. Such a fortress. It's just that's how I feel when I look at my hair. I got one person saying reread. Anybody? Oh, David said reread. We hear, we listening. Okay, good. Hey. What is what? Okay, yeah, I'll read the part about spiritual versus dimensional after this. I think. Okay. So in the beginning, the test may be about, because remember, the feminine will test the masculine with desire. In the beginning, the test may be about the fitness of the masculine, whether the masculine intention is strong and true. Can the feminine trust the masculine if the feminine unveils her true power? Will the masculine honor her, respect her? The feminine request that the masculine do something for the feminine is not just a request for meaningless action. It is the way the feminine strips back any extra that might exist between them. Anything that blocks the masculine ability to see the feminine, the masculine superiority and the masculine composure get burned through because it's all performance. Only then, after it gets burned through, the masculine superiority and the masculine composure, only when that gets burned through, that's when the masculine is worn out and vulnerable, and he's tender enough to truly feel and have reverence for the power that is the feminine. This is how you know a man has never been with a woman. He either has never been with a woman or he doesn't want to get to know the feminine that you are. It's one or the other. Because when a man has had an experience of truly seeing and revering the feminine, and it's like he is not wanting that connection with you, he doesn't want it with you. So it's either he doesn't want it with you or he's never had the experience before. So, and he's unwilling. He's scared, he's unwilling, it's foreign to him. Because any man who truly sees the feminine, whether he admits it or not, first of all, it's a very compelling experience to truly see and revere the feminine. You can't unsee it for the masculine to witness and have that experience. He can never unsee it. And when he's impacted by that, he's going to have a response. Oftentimes, the response is to want to get behind and support and uphold the feminine, or to see it and then want to tear it down, which is what men of old have done. And they saw the power that it had and will continue to have, which will prohibit their ability to control the masses, which is why they put forth so much effort to defile, to confuse, to shame, to demean the true divine feminine, which is, okay, so, but I don't want to get into that right now, okay? I want to stay here. At the same time, the feminine does not always know when to quit, often having just one last thing for the masculine to do. The feminine may run the masculine until there is nothing left for him to give. The power is completely drained. Feminine fear has no off switch. Only as the feminine starts to rise to meet the masculine, to incorporate some of the masculine's vision, some of his traits, can he learn to set boundaries. So this is collaboration at work. The feminine is allergic to the word no. This is rightly so. No is not a word that should be used when there is a yes to be found. But when the quest for a yes comes up empty, as it would stretch him out of his right range, overextend him, have him abandon some part of himself, then the masculine no is a gift the feminine is only too happy to receive. The feminine may kick and scream a bit, but soon the feminine will realize how a true no contains and comforts the feminine. Remember, notice she said a true no, okay, versus a reactive no. The feminine can be met with as much structure as the formlessness she naturally contains. That is the feminine's ultimate win. Let me reread that. The feminine can be met with as much structure as the formlessness she naturally contains. That is the feminine's ultimate win. It's beautiful. Even more than getting the task accomplished, the feminine wants to be seen and met. Only when the feminine is met does the feminine know she can let loose entirely. Only when the feminine is safe enough to let loose can the feminine truly learn to play. If the feminine fears he will answer her requests until he falls over dead, never presenting the feminine with a boundary, a hard no, then the feminine cannot unleash herself fully. The lesson for the feminine is to make requests that can be met rather than merely saying that she wants to be happy, which leads the masculine to travel the globe blindly looking for the things that might accomplish the task. The feminine can drive it down to the particulars. The feminine can get an overall feeling of what will make her happy and approach the how in bite sized chunks. First this, then that. Baby, these are skills. Baby, these are skills. This is maturity. This requires a maturity. This requires care. This requires presence, really being in it. I'm feeling that we're coming to a close. And what I will do is, what was the name again? A spiritual versus dimensional. I think that was one page, so I'll read it. Does anybody have anything to say about what I just read? Yes, one page, so I'll read it. Or maybe two. Yeah. So spiritual versus dimensional is this page and this. So that's going to be the end of my reading tonight. Anybody want to say anything? I sense that I feel seen, right? I have not let loose. Ooh, that is what drew me to your content, the fluidity and simply being. And that's what I'm excited about at Women in Italy, simply being. Not saying we're not doing work, obviously. We have one full day for straight up raw power retreat. We have dinner with God. We have, we're going shopping. I mean, like, we have work, we have play, we have things we're going to be doing. But ultimately, the practice for the feminine is being, just being. Okay, so spiritual versus dimensional. Spiritual values presented as universal are often just masculine. Again, spiritual values presented as universal are often just masculine. Humility, for example, is not considered honorable to the feminine. It is a co-op. No, it is a cop out. Sorry. Let me repeat that. Humility, for example, is not considered honorable to the feminine. It is a cop out. What a woman needs to develop is braggadocio, assertion, and ownership of her space. Then now that is true. Okay. Not humility keeping her confined to the limitation she is in, but something to consistently push her outward. Or she can develop the quality of devotion, which requires no spiritual cultivation whatsoever for a woman. The capacity to be devoted to and attended to, however, requires real growth. Similarly, honesty from the multidimensional perspective of the feminine is communicated in feeling tones rather than data and facts. Most masculine communication is a lie from this perspective because it lacks this dimension. And yet, because the feminine may not speak in the same factual format as the masculine does, she is seen as dishonest. This is so important in our communication. In many traditions, for a woman to be honest, she is required to cut off a core part of herself. And yet, no one questions why it is acceptable to omit these aspects from spirituality. Realized feminine consciousness is to first default, then to awaken, and finally to be able to land in every dimension with equal acumen, care, and facility. This is how a woman with power carries out her deeper purpose. She removes the superior nature of spiritual exclusivity that implicitly diminishes others and elevates and imbues with power that which has been discarded and disdained. From her spiritual position, it is not enough for her to serve or interact with marginalized people or the profaned realms. Hold on, let me go back to this. From her spiritual position, it is not enough for her to, quote, serve or interact with marginalized people or the profane realms. She must become part of these worlds if she is to respect them, not merely visit them from her seat on high. This is like Jesus, how Jesus hung out in the streets with the whores and the poor people, and he was a part of the profane and the marginalized and the dirty. And that's who became his disciples. Okay. Spirituality is, of course, welcome in the full spectrum of experiences. But this is provided it does not take her hostage in its white tower, placing itself over the marketplace and the spiritual equivalent to sexism. A woman with power is marked first and foremost by her fullness. Man, she brings her range, spectrum, and expression to the table of consciousness. A woman without power must don the prefabricated notions of consciousness developed by the masculine for the masculine. The mark of the realized feminine is rooted in the interdependence of all and the capacity to connect on any channel. Ooh, child. Fluency at all frequencies. Fluency at all frequencies is what distinguishes her from the woman lacking power, who exalts the reverent world of purity, subtlety, and silence over the capacity to be with the sullied, the chaotic, the loud. Listen, yes or no? Didn't I say? I have said repeatedly. I have said repeatedly. Full power, the full spectrum. Like, she's sitting over here. Y'all gonna have to go read this yourself. Here's the last paragraph. It is the masculine that prizes the formal nature of the top deck as superior, attempting to impose this belief on others. A woman without power buys into this notion when she agrees to save a wildness for a partner in private where it is acceptable as commerce. Let me repeat that. A woman without power buys into this notion when she agrees to save a wildness for a partner in private where it is acceptable as commerce. She takes on a public identity of chaste, refined, and pedigreed in spirituality, as opposed to the galley where the world is raucous and alive, connected, and filled with play and love. Do you want it or not? I mean, listen. Do you want it or not? What do you have to say about what I just read? What do y'all have to say about what do you feel about what I just read? What do you feel about that? What's been your experience of that or lack of experience of that? I'm ready to go outside and get some air. Ah! I'm on my way out the door, y'all. Womanhood initiation on Sunday. If you're ready, I look forward to seeing your face. There's so many options with the link in my bio here on TikTok and also in the description here on YouTube. If you have any questions, feel welcome to send an email. If you're here on TikTok, feel welcome to DM me. Okay? Thank you so much for being here. I feel like I want to read more, not tonight, but I feel like I want to read more at some particular time. And I look forward to connecting with you all again very soon. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Mwah. I'll see you. Take good care of yourselves.